All right, last week of algebra work, at least to wrap this stuff up. 10.4a is solving basic radical equations. To solve higher level equations, you must remember the order of weakest to strongest operation. So addition, subtraction, of course, being the weakest, typically multiplication, division being the other one, exponents and roots, because remember, exponents there and then grouping symbols. And if you think about it, the order of operations, parentheses, is the strongest. Exponent second strongest, which again is roots also, because remember those are opposites. Multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So therefore it's set up in a way you should kind of understand, but again, it's just the opposite of parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and so on. So if you're going to solve these, you're going to use common sense on this stuff, but again, you have to make sure you practice it to understand it. I think today is the easy day. Tomorrow is a day where things will get interesting, but again, today should be easy enough. Because if you even think about it like you want to cut down to the x, the first thing you have, or the last thing you need to get rid of is the root, because the closest thing to x is the root. After that, it's the 4. After that, it's the 6, which means this 6 has to go. So we'll add 6 to both sides first, bringing down 4 root x equals 28. From there, again, if the root is the closest thing, we have to get rid of the 4. So we'll divide by 4, getting root x equals 24. And then the last thing you'll do to get rid of a square root, remember roots and squares are opposites, so you'll square both sides, which is the new information you need now. That brings down an x, and I believe that's 576 if I remember right. I think, I don't know. Yep, there we go. So that would be your answer. And there is no plus or minus, because the plus or minus only occurs when you're square rooting both sides. When you're squaring both sides, it's just the answer that you get. All right. So again, looking at this, x, the last thing you should probably get rid of is the 6, because x and 6 are here. But the root is after that, the 3 is after that, the 7 should be last. So it's just a matter of making sure you take your time and work through it. So rewrite everything else. Now we want to get rid of the 3, because again, the 3 is still outside the shell. So the shell comes down, x plus 6, that's 5. The only way I can get to 6 is if I get rid of the root. So in this case, I have to square both sides. Again, using common sense, that helps. Then x plus 6 comes down with 25. And the last thing you do is subtract your 6, getting x equals 19. And again, one of the things about this calculator that will help you out is that you can actually type it in the way you see it and type in the number. So 3 root, turn x into 19, plus 6. Exit out, plus 7 equals, and if I did my job, it should equal 22. Notice that it does, which means that I know I got it right. So again, your calculator is a very powerful tool. I recommend it again for a reason, because it is the best calculator for its price. Again, it's about 17 bucks. I actually had to buy one time. It is about 17 bucks, but again, for that cost, the amount of things it can do for you and the ease, I guess the user interface is what you call it, is very strong. And this one here, again, I can't touch the 2, I can't touch the 11 because the root is in the way. So common sense says I can't subtract 11 because I can't even touch 11 till the root is gone. So the first thing we would do here is square both sides. Then you bring down 2x plus 11, because that gets rid of your root. 9 squared is 81. Now you have a basic solving problem. So minus 11, 2x equals 70. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So again, the basic thing that you're trying to get used to in this lesson is getting used to making sure you know how to deal with the order of what's going to get moved. In this one, it's actually much easier than it looks, because if you think about it, I can't touch the 5, I can't touch the 3, I can't touch the 9, I can't touch the 23. The only thing I can honestly do is get rid of the root. But once I square both sides, what comes down is just 5x minus 3 equals 9x minus 23, which is really just what's underneath anyway. From there I solve, subtracting 5x from both sides because it's smaller, adding 23 because I have to move it away from the 4, and then dividing by 4 because that's what's attached to x, and there is your answer. So again, not so bad. It's not tough at all. It's just a matter of getting used to the solving portion of it. Again, today is the is that light on? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Light. There it is. Today is the easier. It's not like it made a big difference, but today is the easier of the 2 days because we're not getting into the tricky stuff. But like I said, just make sure you're working hard today to get it down, because if you don't get the stuff down today, it is going to get tricky. So here again, really what I learned when I see root of something equals root of something is that the root really isn't the issue. It's just going to end up 3x plus 2 equals 3x minus 7. But what you have to notice is when I go to move my 3x, those two things cancel. I end up with a false statement. And so anytime you are solving and your x's eliminate and it's false, that means that there's no solution. If that would have been something like 2 equals 2, then it would be infinite solutions. So again, false, no solutions, because it'll never be true. If it's a true statement, that means it will always be true, which means you have infinite solutions. So again, that's your idea there. On this one, the only trick here is that when you square both sides, because again, you really can't do anything but to square it, is that you have to use a higher level of squaring, which means that yes, then this ends up as 4x plus 15, but this is not going to be 3x. This 3 is getting squared, which means it actually will end up being 9 with an x. Because again, 3 squared is 9, square root of x squared is x, and there you go. So now you'll move your 4x over. That should be 5. I'm silly. And then divide by 5, and that will give you the answer that you're looking for. So quick video, I know, but again, keep in mind as you get stuck, go back to the video, watch the problem that looks like the one you're working on, and try to figure out what I did and how that translates to what you should do. The answers should not be the exact same, but if the setup of the problem is the same, then your steps are going to match mine. You just have to make sure you execute them appropriately. And again, if you mess up, just get your answer on paper, show me what you did, and I can actually help you out with that. But at least use the video to try to get your steps, because that's really where everything comes from. Outside of that, talk to you later and have a good day. We got one more lesson.